Hello. My name is Michelle. I'm being a little different today because I usually have the mic like clipped right here, but then I keep feeling like it's really low. Like, you know what I mean? Like super low. And so I figured maybe if I just do this and speak directly into it. I see people attaching it to like a spatula, but I figure as an ode to my teacher self, I would do a pin. So hopefully this is working out. So I'm 51. I've been retired for a little over a year, and I have been super duper committed to figuring out my finances. And there's a few things that I've done to help me get better at managing my money and more confident about my spending. One is I started tracking my spending back in the fall of 2025. I'm recording this June 2026. And once I recorded my weekly spending, first I started daily, then I would total it up weekly, and it gave me just a realistic budget of what I was spending. So I started with $150 as my budget, but I learned after about a month that really, that really was just not enough money. So now I do $200 a month. Now, this week is going to be a combination. This video is going to be a combination of week 2 and week 3 because I was supposed to travel last week, and unfortunately my flight got canceled and then it got delayed. Well, first it got delayed, then canceled, then they put me on a later flight, but that would have gotten me to my destination too late because I was supposed to be going to a wedding. So unfortunately I didn't get a chance to go to the wedding, but I did, I was able to send a gift. So I'm not going to throw the airline under the bus because I actually love that airline, but I'm also not going to give them a shout out unless, of course, eventually I get sponsored by them. No free promos with me. All right, so here we go. First of all, thank you for joining me. I am extremely old school, y'all. Love me some paper and pencil. So here are my notes for what I've spent. Now, this is running from Friday, June 5th to Thursday, June 18th. So for miscellaneous, I spent $8.20. For dining out, I spent $184.26. It really was a very spendy 2 weeks for me, partly due to just stress. Secondly, though, I just was out of my rhythm, out of my routine. I didn't really plan stuff out, and then that meant I ended up eating out more than I would have, hoped to. I just had to do a category, y'all, called Walmart because part of my issue is I don't have a system right now with this. I have, like, in my mind, I know what I want to do when it comes to tracking my spending, but y'all, that is not what's happening in reality. And so unfortunately I had like just receipts on receipts on receipts. And I decided, I'm not going to even use the receipts to figure out my spending. I'm literally just going straight to my banking app because I do all my spending on a debit card. And so Walmart just got its own category for these 2 weeks. Normally what I would do is actually break down what I'm buying at Walmart, which is usually a combination of household, office, and food. But this time Walmart is its own category. So at Walmart, I spent $171.76. For household, I spent $115.39. And that came from, I have a Family Dollar that is going out of business near me. And so they're having like these amazing sales. So I bought these cute little like area rugs for my place. They're so cute. And then I bought some other little stuff, because I keep telling you all I'm trying to like finalize my office space. And so some of that stuff went in there. Then gifts was $64.18 because I was supposed to go to a 60th birthday party like in May, and I didn't end up being able to make it, so I wanted to send that gift out, so that's what that was. Food was $65.57. Travel was $96.03 because even though I didn't actually go anywhere, I still spent money in anticipation of the travel, meaning I bought like an outfit and then I bought a purse, and then because my flight actually got delayed and then canceled, I was actually at the airport, which means I paid for parking, and then I had some airport snacks. I ended up getting to the airport, y'all, like 4 hours in advance. I never get through that early. but I hadn't really flown out of this airport often, so I didn't know how long the TSA line would be. Plus, I was parking my car at like an off-campus parking lot, so I didn't know how long that process would be. Y'all, the process was literally like 15 minutes total, so clearly next time I go away, I don't need to, get there. I don't need to allow myself quite that much time, because sitting 4 hours in the airport and then for a flight to be delayed, then for a flight to be canceled, and it was on the red eye, so it was nighttime, and it was just, oh my goodness, it was just a mess. So, story for another time. But I made it back home safely, so it was fine. All right, and then hobbies, I spent $7.35. I'm a big moviegoer, and so I actually went to see The Mandalorian, and I don't know how you say Baby Yoda's name. Is it Grogu? But I went to see that. It was so cute. It was so cute. And so that was actually my snacks, because I'm still using the gift cards that I got for my going away party. When I was leaving the East Coast, coming to the West Coast, and so I'm like, I love AMC, so I got like some AMC gift cards, so I'm still using those. So that is like so sweet, because I only go to AMC on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, because that's when they have the half off day. So that's what that money was for. Fuel, I spent $30.14, which, I was very proud of myself. I splurged and spent an extra $5 on gas, which y'all, I hadn't seen my gas tank that full in a minute, so it was pretty cool. And then for self-care, I spent $38, because every month I like to get my underarms waxed, and for whatever reason, $38 to me seems like a lot, and that's including like the $10 tip. But I'm like, oh well, my pedicures end up, I guess it balances out, because my pedicures are not as much as they were on the East Coast. So even though my underarm waxings are more, pedicures are less, so I think the self-care thing balances out. Okay, for a total, the total spent for those 2 weeks was $780.88. Now, that is a lot of money. That's a lot of money, y'all. Especially since my weekly budget is usually only $200. So I mean, at most that'd be $400. However, because I'm getting better with managing my money and just planning ahead, I had calculated that for the month of June, that there's 4 weeks in June, so if that's $200 a week, that would be $800. And then for this trip that I didn't end up taking, but I had, saved and budgeted for, was $775. So technically, I'm still in budget, if that makes sense. But the cool thing that I like about really tracking your spending and really budgeting, and really, really, really when it comes to like events and travel and saying yes to things, which I'm learning now, is before I say yes to an event, I'm going to pause and then really do my budget around that, because to spend almost $800 to go to a wedding, that's a lot of money. Like, that is a lot of money. And so while I was willing to do it, and I was sad that I didn't get a chance to go, it's also helping me really see, like, girl, that's a lot of money. And so I think moving forward, before I commit to events, I'm really gonna have to look at, like, what's the total cost of this? Because I think sometimes when we say yes, we're not really thinking of all the costs. Like, when I said yes, I think I was thinking more like flight, hotel, but I wasn't really thinking about the fact that, like, because I'm a minimalist, I do not shop often. That means every time I say yes to something, for the most part, that means I gotta buy an outfit, because I really wear just a bunch of casual clothes. So if it's a like formal event, I can't just go to my closet and find something. And so, like, for instance, for this event, even though I didn't end up making it, I still ended up buying like an outfit and shoes and a purse. And so I'm really gonna have to be cognizant of that moving forward. Now, the win on this, let me talk about the loss first. The L that I took on this is that I do not have a workable system. There's clearly too much friction in my system of calculating my spending on a daily and weekly basis. So I do have to figure that out ASAP, because I don't want to get overwhelmed and just keep blindly spending. Now, the flip side, or the good part, is due to, just some other things that have happened in my life. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you know that at this moment I could not use a credit card even if I wanted to. But this is really helping me because how much did I say I spent? $780.88. That was all cash, y'all. All cash. So that is the win. That is the win, is that even though I'm still working out my system, I'm not creating new debt. So I'm super duper proud of myself that I even had access to that money. And a lot of that money came from me doing my sinking funds. And, I was able to pull that money. And I know it was all things planned. She's a budgeter who I absolutely love to watch. I've been ordering her stickers lately for my little budget notebook. But I love the way that she kind of talks about her sinking funds and how she uses them. And she says it's almost like her own little credit card system where if she needs money, she can pull from her sinking funds. Whereas if you don't have sinking funds, those are the times when you normally have to put it on a credit card. So this is just another plug again for get some sinking funds. Even if you feel like you don't have a lot of money to save, because I really do not have a lot of money that I'm working with right now. I think my monthly income is about maybe between 3,000 and let's just say 3,000, because I'm not going to include my real estate business in this, because right now my house that I'm doing the rent by the room, which is the only one that's up and running right now, my duplex is not up and running yet. I'm not even doing anything with that yet. I'm saving up right now to do a basement renovation at the rent by the room house. And so that house is really just breaking even. So there is no profit from that right now. So none of that money is funneling into my personal money. Actually, the opposite tends to happen, which is I'm doing owner investments into that business just to keep it afloat, which will quickly be changing because as soon as I get that basement up and running, that will then put me definitely in the black, and I'll have some budgeting space. And then once the duplex is up and running, that's life-changing, and you will know when the duplex is up and running because that weekly budget's going to look a little different, because then I can get to my goal, which I may as well tell you my goal. I said it in my last video, but I'll say it again. Ideally, I could really live my dream life on about $70,000 a year, and I know that sounds crazy to some people, but I'm being so serious. All I need is a couple thousand more, and I really be able to live my dream life, which would include traveling internationally 4 times a year to 4 different countries, to 4 different continents, and that I could totally pull off on $70,000 a year, just because my other expenses are not super high. And so eventually I want to increase my weekly budget from 200 to 400, and that extra 200 a week would be strictly for self-care and hobbies, in particular casino. I love the casino. Roulette's my favorite game. And then secondly, self-care, which would be weekly massages. So I'm working my way there, y'all. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and if you have any tips or tricks, please let me know. But again, even though I know it can be so overwhelming when you feel like your spending is getting out of hand, because that is exactly how I felt these last 2 weeks, it still felt so good to sit down and just see the numbers, in black and white, and most importantly know, girl, even though, yeah, you went a little buck wild with the spending, you didn't charge it. So you're not still paying for stuff that you did, a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So I'm super happy about that. And, I hope you will continue to tune in. Hello to all my new subscribers. Thank you. I hope you'll continue to tune in and get some, ideas, as well as share ideas with me. Now, I have committed myself for the rest of June, to try my hardest to make the rest of June a no-spend month. And the reason why is, one, I just feel like I really need to be able to settle my mind without spending money, because what's happening is a lot of this spending is coming from just stress and anxiety, and I want to be able to have some other ways to do that, so that every time I get stressed, that does not mean I'm spending money on something. I have enough hobbies here that, maybe that means pull out a coloring book, go sit on my balcony, light an incense, and read a book, go to sleep. I have a gym membership, go take a class, go to the sauna. I mean, there's a whole lot of things I could do to settle my mind. Drink some tea. I got all sorts of tea. I love tea, y'all. So I just want to kind of break that habit of every time I get stressed spending money, I want to be able to pull from something I already have. So again, thank you so much for watching. As always, be grateful, and bye-bye.